What up, y'all? It's your boy Hitmaker in the building. Check me out on the Bootleg podcast. New single on the way. More rain on the way.
Bootleg Cat Podcast special guest in here. My guy, Youngberg, aka Hitmaker, is here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome, man.
Appreciate you having me, bro.
Of course. First of all, we gotta talk about this. Is this a new chain?
Yeah. This piece, I ain't gonna lie. When I left Atlantic, a lot of people, like my peers and co-producers, like it was a bunch of like people and close friends talking down, like, man, you know, he's going to Empire, like it might not work out for him, you know.
Really?
What I'm saying? Atlantic was really the fuel behind the fire that was keeping him going. And I put so much work in that I just said it last year, like around this time, beginning of the summer last year, I'm like, yo, for every Friday for the rest of the summer, it's finna be a new release and it's finna rain hits on niggas. And people were just laughing at me, and then I would put this emoji up. And then literally every Friday for the rest of the whole summer, like I had a hit that came out or whatever. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make it a chain too.
Love the chain.
Yeah, bro, appreciate it.
I feel like Tory Lanez might get emotional over your chain.
Man, I don't know, man. I just, if he hears the story now, he can understand.
He understands
you know what I'm saying?
Now he gets the context.
Yeah, but it's like it ain't never no.
No, that shit's hard.
Yeah, Tory's amazing. You know what I'm saying?
What is something like that run somebody?
Altogether like 260.
Jesus, man, that's a real Atlanta house.
Nah, for sure. It's like a Lamborghini truck on the neck.
It's a Louisville real estate. Nice little 4-bedroom in Louisville. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been working hard though, so shit.
In LA, that'll get you a 10 on the side of the 405.
Bro, nothing. I'm moving from LA. I'm almost done. I'm building my house in Miami right now. So
that's where it's at, man.
I'm almost done with building my crib. I move in like August, something like that.
No state tax.
Nah, man, that's gonna be epic.
You don't have to pay state tax. You go. I mean, I know the gun laws are way more chill.
Oh no, it is. You good. It's stand your ground. It's all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to worry about that. Out here is ridiculous with like all the BS that's going on in LA. Like they got to figure out a happy medium with the gun laws in between. You know what I'm saying? How they trying to play it, because niggas is acting crazy right now.
Yeah, it's crazy because like it's so hot in LA, and they make it so hard for you to like defend yourself. So it's like.
But don't you, like, if you had a gun in your crib, like, you straight though, right? Like,
I listen, I'm not the expert on the LA gun laws. I just know that like if you were driving around with your piece, then that's you got to have your bullets separated from the gun in the trunk or some shit, and it's like, well, what if someone runs up on me and tries to fucking
no purpose of having
kill
a
me?
Gun. Yeah. Shout out to Rance from 1500 and Nothing. I think he had linked up with some of the sheriffs and deputies or whatever. I don't even know.
I saw that. Yeah. I think that there's some people trying to kind of like you said, have a happy medium, because you don't want because there's obviously places where you could just roll around open carry, and not to get into politics, people feel how they feel, but there has to be a happy medium, especially in a place like LA where obviously it's an issue. People are being targeted.
LA not the same no more though, bro. Like I remember like. Even before, I think a golden era was like Supper Club and all that. But then even before Supper Club, like how I used to watch Entourage and be like, man, like you go to the W, you go to Roosevelt, you go to this spot and it's popping. It ain't even that no more. Like I don't even know like if somebody came to visit me, like, yo, where to go get some chicks at? Like where should we pop out? I couldn't even tell you.
People always hit me and they're like, yo, I'm in LA. Where's it at? I'm like, bro, I'll be at the crib, bro.
yeah. I don't go out.
I don't know. I'm like, yo, go follow Sean Dickerson. I'm sure his IG page will tell you
highlight
where to go.
room.
Yeah,
I guess,
highlight room. There you go. Good luck getting in there though.
Exactly. They don't be playing at the highlight room.
Good fucking luck getting in, man. So obviously you signed your situation with Empire about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, like a year and a half. It's on my contract almost up, and March is up.
And through that, obviously you've put out some dope music. You got artists that you've signed under your imprint.
Yeah.
You've gotten some big obviously shout out Young Blue.
Oh yeah. I don't know Blue. Yeah, but
we don't know if this is. We know it's Bel Air.
I bought it because it said Blue on it. So,
yeah, and we know that he may or may not own a part of the Blue. We don't know. But shout out to our guy Blue.
Nah, man. Coming to Empire was really dope. I really wanted to, like I said, I had a little like hate, you know what I'm saying, with me leaving or whatever, leaving a major label system. So like I really was like, you know what, I'm just in a position where I'm gonna show people that the hits are following me. It don't have nothing to do with what's happening inside the building internally or what CEO I might be working with or whatever. Like the hits is following me and my team. And as you said, the first record that we did that went crazy was the Blue record with Chris
Baddest
and Chains Baddest. I wanted to come out the gate smoking with that, and I really appreciate Mo, Gazi, everybody over there. That record it's like a reoccurring record or whatever
recurrent.
They call it.
Yeah, it gets played all over. Yeah,
bro,
still
the record was top 10 for 47 weeks out of the year last year.
Yeah,
so
it's still very much. I mean, here in LA, it still pops up as like a power every 3 weeks because it researches so well.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that was a big one, and then shit, we made a bunch more after that.
So your Atlantic situation, because you were obviously producing so much music for a lot of the artists on Atlantic, but also you obviously put your single out. Was it Hotbox?
Thoughtbox.
Yep. Hotbox. Yep. Close enough.
I wish it was Hotbox. Yeah, I think the title kind of like killed it a little bit too.
I remember there were some awesome promo items for that song.
Yeah, like we had made a box that had like a little
condoms,
of Hennessy,
right?
condoms, like whatever your vibe was supposed to be.
Yeah. So would you say that like when you were in Atlantic, did you have like a song deal with them, or you had to like give them a certain amount of music every? Because I know some producers have those situations. Like I got a homie of mine who's got one of those at 300.
So this is kind of my situation with my career. At Atlantic, I had a label deal. I was vice president of A&R, and I had a song deal, of course. And then I'm gonna be honest, at pretty much every record company in the music business, I have a song deal with them.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. Still, I have a song deal with Empire. I have a song deal with Epic Records. I have a song deal with Atlantic Records.
How does something like that work?
When you create enough leverage for yourself and you just known for delivering records, instead of positioning yourself to where it's like, I want $100,000 a track, or I want $50,000 a track, or you might go in and say, all right, bet I want $35,000 a track, but you got to get 30 up front.
You got to get it in bulk, like Costco.
So they pay you. So with me, as the way I produce, if I was 100% a producer or whatever, then I would just get all the money myself, and they would pay me for 30 songs up front, which that probably like $1 million right there, or whatever. But the way I produce is that I have a bunch of co-producers that I work with. It's not just one person or one man operation. So I'll go and then they'll pay me for half of the songs up front, and then they'll save the other half for my co-producers or whatever, who realistically might not be getting 17.5 a track, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's how it ends up being dope. So if my song deal is $40,000 at Epic Records, then I meet a new producer, I bring them in, I produce something on Epic, they're slated in the system at $40,000 for that record. Wow. So at the very least, if they like, all right, take me away, when it's like, well, I got paid $20,000 for my record, you could be on your first beat and have a track record inside that building infrastructure. Wow. So if you keep working without me or with me and keep your foot on the gas, you at $20,000 a track.
Yeah, I do notice like there are some producers that will not give the co-producers credit, or they'll be like the big name, and then you'll hear the tag, but you won't see, like, I do notice that you give a lot of love and credit to the people you collaborate with.
Hell yeah, because ultimately, like, I've programmed beats before, I've done all that or whatever, but I've done stuff on my album, I've done stuff on other releases that have come out, but at the same token, it was like, I'm just so creative, and I just work at such a high level. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make 10 records a night. So like to actually have as many songs and have as many things going, I think I had 227 placements last year. So it's probably not physically possible to make 200 and something songs a year in 12
and
months
they'd be
by
fire.
yourself.
Yeah.
And be fire and react and get plaques for them and all that other stuff.
I just saw you just hit a milestone. Was it 100 million sold?
Yeah, yo, I'm involved with 100 million records sold that I've either produced or co-wrote, and that's super blessing, man. I think a year ago I was at 70.
So you had 30 million in a year?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy,
I mean, 277 placements will do that for you,
so,
right?
Yeah, the numbers kind of match up to that, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's like 11 billion streams and 100 million. So I get the plaque on when 2 days.
So you've been like active since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Now, was Bloodline Records and DMX your initial introduction to, I guess, the industry?
Yeah, pretty much. That was like my first record deal, and the crazy thing about that is that you know the story. Like I started in Chicago with a bunch of guys that were like Well, it's people that are notable, so I can say Bugs, who works with Kanye.
That's
West,
my guy. Shout out to Bugs.
That's my brother. That's my mentor.
I just saw him at the Pusha show.
Yo, he literally taught me how to be a producer.
He introduced me to G. Roberson.
Yeah, like he did everything with me. He produced my whole entire demo, which got me signed to Bloodline, and he was basically essentially what I am right now, but actually he was programming and doing stuff like that then. But Bugs basically had relationships with No ID, with Kanye, with different people, and my whole demo was produced by Bugs, No ID, and
Bugs
Kanye.
is so fire.
Yeah,
and he's a great guy.
And we still work together. Like, he's still my mentor.
He's killing it right now.
Yeah, so like me, Bugs, and then back in the day there were a group called LEP, which transitioned to Infrared, and they were like the street guys behind us. And I had a bidding war like that. Everybody wanted to sign me. Rockefeller wanted to sign me.
How old were you at this time?
14,
okay.
13. Yeah. So Rockefeller wanted to sign me. Tommy Boy wanted to sign me. Def Jam, just the whole DMX, everybody. And the crazy thing is how I ended up meeting DMX was Eve's stylist introduced me to DMX or whatever at the time. And the crazy thing is we ended up meeting at What These Bitches Want From a Nigga video set.
Oh, wow.
At Paramount Lot in Hollywood, still to this day
wow.
out here in LA. And I remember it was like fucking Aaliyah was there, Dragon, DMX, Method Man. It was like a 2-day shoot, a crazy vibe. I meet DMX and like DMX, they like trying to introduce me to X, and like back then I was like 4'4", like I was really like a little guy. And DMX like, "Yo, shorty, I'm gonna go smoke this and I'm gonna holler back." And he had like a few chicks with him and like opened his hand, had a bunch of Cali weed or whatever. So he went and smoked. I went, got on the trailer, and they basically was like, rap. He was like, rap for me, and I'm like, all right, bet. So I rapped. And I think I kicked like one of the Twister type flows. I said, "Going up in the fence, but this hand spoke up like on that vibe." And he's like, "Shorty, relax. I don't understand the fucking word you said. Give me a different vibe." Da, 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 da. So I ended up spitting another verse, which they went crazy for because I'm like a little kid going crazy. But like I had so many bricks in my raps and all that other stuff. Like I was talking super street shit. And left my demo. The next day I came back to the video set. And like DMX was banging my demo out the trailer, like loud, like going crazy to it. And it was Bugs with me. It was all these same people, these same guys. And I remember Kevin Lyles walked up to me. He was like, "Man, you ready for your life to change?" I'm like, "Man, hey, you like your life about to change from this day." And then DMX ended up signing me to Bloodline Records.
Wow. And was Bloodline through Def Jam?
Yeah, through Def Jam.
Shout out to Kevin Lyles, stand-up guy.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Kev, man. Speaking of Kev, man, I got song deal with 300. Still, look at this. All these years later, it's crazy that I worked so closely with Tina Davis, who was like with Def Jam when I was a kid, and then now I work closely with Kevin or whatever, and it is what it is.
So you met DMX, you ended up signing with Bloodline. Obviously, the Bloodline thing probably didn't work out. I think like a lot of us had hoped it would have.
Yeah, I think that X just wasn't ready to run his own company like that or whatever. Like he was just too big. Like at
because that was like what was that before? That was like right before the Great Depression.
Nah, yeah, this is like
because And There Was X was that was What These Bitches Want was on that album. Which was,
so it was right after, in the midst of that album, and right after. I think what comes to mind is I remember being in Toronto when we were filming Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal and all that other stuff.
You were there?
Yeah, I stayed with X the whole time while he did Exit Wounds.
That's crazy.
Yep, I remember that. And
wasn't Dragon in that movie?
Yep, Drag was in the movie. Everybody was out there. Like Toronto was crazy, and like that's how like another thing went viral when I was promoting Thoughtbox. That's how DMX stole my first piece of pussy when I was like a kid. Like we had went to a club and like met a bunch of girls. We got back in the car. Like I remember I was in the back seat filling up the girl. She filling on me, whatever. We going to my hotel room. I'm literally like putting my key in a hotel, and like the man is like a dog in real life. Like he just opened up the door of his suite and was like, Yo, ma, I think you left a person here. And she had never been to the hotel or nothing, and she literally left me and went in DMX room and got a purse.
DMX. At that time, he's, the biggest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah, he's like, man, I don't know. What we say, like, equivalent? What was he like, Drake right now?
You know what's crazy? Because when I was a kid, going to, like, the Hard Knock Life tour, I left, like, I loved Jay-Z, but, like, I was there to see DMX. So DMX went on before Hove, which at the time was kind of crazy because DMX was the bigger artist at the time.
You think they were like swapping headliners?
No,
that's
because I was a Rockefeller tour.
It was the Hard Knock Life tour.
Yeah. So I remember DMX performed and just destroyed it. And you know, Jay's stage energy is different than DMX. So it's like night and day. Yeah. DMX just got done praying and crying on stage. And before that, Method Man and Redman were flying around.
Yeah. I went to that concert. I remember that shit.
Yeah. And when Hove went on, like, it was cool, but like me and my cousin left. You know what I mean? Shout out to Hove. But I saw Hove 38 times after that. But
big shout out to Hove, man.
Yo, what up, man? We got to stop the interview real quick to tell you about our good folks at Blue Chew. That's right. Go to bluechew.com. Fellas, you know, sometimes you go through some stress, you go through a little anxiety, and your dick is not performing maybe how you'd like. It's called ED. A lot of guys go through ED. You could just be old as shit if you're watching this and your dick ain't working like it did when you were like 20. You know what I mean? Well, listen, Blue Chew, it is the wave. How about this? The same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis getting delivered right to your door in a chewable form, in discreet packaging. And the best part about it is it's all online. 0 awkward visits to the doctor's office. 0. You go online, you sign up with the promo code Bootleg. That's right, Bootleg. When you check out, you will get the first month for free. All you got to do is pay $5 in shipping, and you're going to get 1 month supply of Blue Chew. All right, and you're going to be fucking like you were fucking never fucking before. Your dick's going to... I'm going to assume you're adding at least 1/4 of an inch of erection. That shit's going to be rocked up and socked up. All right, boys? So what you need to do, one more time, go to bluechew.com and use that promo code Bootleg and get your first month for free. Bootleg, promo code Bootleg on bluechew.com. Let's get back to the interview. Yeah. So now obviously you get through the bloodline thing and then you start catching a wave as a solo artist, Young Berg. Now that's like
I was Iceberg then, and in DMX era, then I became Young Berg.
And what was your first like big record as Young Berg? Because you had a few.
Sexy Lady was the big record that I started here.
Who was on that hook?
It was a guy named Junior. Kind of like similar to how like I create a bunch. Well, you know, I've created a lot of records like in my career. Like a bunch of the singers or people that were on my records were my homies. Yeah, like they were just people that I was working with, artists or that turned into artists that I would work with as well. And I still do that in my career right now. Like I have a bunch of people that I meet as songwriters that I empower, and their dream is to be an artist. So that ends up happening. But Sexy Lady is a crazy story because remember a club called Privilege?
Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah.
Remember TK, who now works for Hypnosis? You remember the promoter TK that used to do Privilege? Well, man, he did every crazy...
Listen, when Sexy Lady came out, I was like 18 as an intern in Phoenix.
Okay, cool. So I was... Shit, me too. I was like,
I was about to say, you and I did some clubs together, some 18 and up clubs in Arizona during that run.
Like, I was like 18 at the same time, and funny thing is, my weed man at the time was a club promoter at the club, and he ended up introducing me to DJ Echo from Power 106 or whatever.
Shout
and
out
then Echo would just go and just like be playing my record in the club, and I used to come in there like super young kid, chinchilla on, just wilding out or whatever, and then we built like a group of people to where a community to where like my manager would hand out a clipboard everywhere, would get everybody email, get everybody's number or whatever, and tell them it was for parties, but it turned into being a number for them to call for Power 106 to play my record.
Oh shit.
So I went and Echo took me into a mixer meeting at Power 106. I didn't know nobody, and he went in there like, yo, this record is reacting crazy in the clubs, this kid. And they brought me in at the end of the mixer meeting. I went in there, I told my life story pretty much. I cried through the waterworks on them for a little bit at the end of it. And then next thing I know, it started off at Mix Show. It was a light rotation. And then before I even got a record deal, I was in Power Rotation with that record.
Independent.
Yeah, no
that's
deal.
Crazy. That doesn't happen.
Nah, that was crazy. That was like that was a wild thing. I never really seen that happen like that.
That's
in
a
LA
very that's like a unicorn situation, man.
And with me not being from LA as well was even the kicker.
Right, you're not from LA. You don't have a label behind you. Yeah, that doesn't happen, man.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
So from there, you get your deal.
Yep.
That got you signed.
Yep, that got me signed at Epic. Shout out to Charlie Walk, Katie Welly, my bro Billy J, who still manages with me now. Basically, my bro Billy J worked for John Monopoly, and we like in the same age. And he literally hit up Katie. He was looking for someone else that was working at Epic. Katie Welly ended up answering the phone. Katie was an assistant at the time, took me to Keith Nafterly. They came to like one of my performances that I did out here in LA. It went crazy. And then I got a label deal from there.
What was the other record that you had that all the bitches used to grind to? I played
The Business.
Oh my god.
That was after so it started
The Business.
with
Bitches love that record.
And still love this record to this day.
You can
right
still
now.
play.
It's a classic.
You can still drop that shit like as a oh wow.
Yo, niggas was like, you were Drake before Drake, like you were singing it. I'm like, bro, chill, shut up, bro. No, Drake is Drake. I was me. But the crazy thing about it was that was after Sexy Can I.
Yeah, Sexy Can I was a moment. So it was
Sexy Lady.
Then Sexy Can I.
So look how I get the Sexy Can I record. I think Ray J was legendary. I think his like little he was just he was a sniper back then in the day.
God.
And like I loved Ray J so much.
He's a real cocksmith.
Yo, I put him on my EP, and then from there we ended up being cool. And he hit me out the blue and was like, yo, I got this record. Sexy Can I? You got the Sexy Lady. We do the Sexy Can I? I'm like, bro, you want me to be the sexiest nigga in the world? Yo, how I'm gonna go from Sexy Lady to Sexy Can I? And I already had the song The Business.
Right.
So like I was thinking like I knew where I wanted to go with my next record. And from there, they flew me to New York because I was like, I'm not doing a record.
Right.
Charlie Walk, I'll never forget it. I come in his office. He's the president of Epic. He's dancing on top of a grand piano. And Charlie Walk's like a little dude. Like, he probably like 5'1", 5'2". He's dancing. He's turned up to Sexy Can I playing a song. I don't know if he was like playing a trick on me or whatever. So he's like, yo, this is going to be the biggest record of your career. It's going to be one of the biggest ones. Da, 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 da. And I was just like, I want to do it. He's like, what's going to take you to do this record? I'm like, yo, call Jason of Beverly Hills and buy me an Epic Records chain right now. And he called Jason. It probably came out my budget or whatever, but they made me an Epic Records chain. And then
where's that chain now?
I gave it to one of the homies who used to wear it back in the day or whatever.
That's such a random chain. Like, I got an Epic Records chain.
Literally have an Epic Records chain with my face on the back of it, my album title and all that. And shout out to Jason of Beverly Hills.
So in order for you to get on Sexy Can I, they had to provide you with the Epic Records chain.
Yeah.
Damn.
And Sexy Can I ain't gonna lie, it still is. It's like diamond or some shit like that. Like if you kind of like, I don't even know how to equate it and add it up because the sales were so different. I think it probably sold like 6 million singles.
For real. But
then you got to think about ringtones and then whatever. It was a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah, it was a different era where you actually had to
ring back, ringtone.
You actually had to actually set. Like I remember going to the store and buying like a single on a CD.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that shit was crazy.
Yeah, it'd have the instrumental, the remix.
Yeah, so Sexy Can I was like, it was a blessing though, because I'll never forget when we did the final record.
What year was that?
2008.
Damn, yep.
So when we were finalizing the record, I wrote my little verses or whatever. I wrote my verses like in Miami, and I went to the studio with my friend at the time, the girl who sang the hook on The Business, Kasha, and I went with and Ray J. We went to Encore, and Ray J was there. This like after he did his Vivid deal or whatever, so like he was on a different level, like he was in a different bag.
Everyone's seen his dick by this time,
bro. He's in a different bag. So we go in there and like he's asking Kasha like, yo, you mind if I play these videos? And he pulls out like DVDs and it's like Vivid porn and shit or whatever. And like, I'm like, bro, play that shit. I don't care. Like, you know, this is my
different era.
Guy. It's my homie. Like, this my girl. Like, this ain't no super duper relationship. This is like my best friend. So, Tierra Marie was there with him. I think that was his girlfriend at the time while we was doing it crazy enough. And we finished the record and we went to Miami. We shot the video. And upon shooting the video, like the first take of the video, I'm smoking up a blunt. It's probably like a roach. We about to shoot the first shot. I inhale it once and I throw it out the Lamborghini. The police that was securing us on the set came and picked up the roach and took me to jail before the first shot of the whole video in Sexy Can I. Yeah, we was in Miami.
Because you threw a blunt out?
Yeah, they took me to jail on the set of Sexy Can I. I went to jail, and the crazy thing is Shaquille and Ray J was partners, and Shaquille O'Neal ended up bailing me out of jail, and so I could come back to the video. I didn't get out of jail until probably like...
Wait, Shaq bailed you out?
Yeah, I didn't get out of jail until probably like 9 p.m.
What?
So this from like 9 a.m. I spent like 12 hours in jail, yeah.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I recently had a 24-hour little jail sit down. That shit sucks.
Yeah, that shit is terrible.
Using the toilet paper as a pillow.
Yo, bro. Jail is not it.
It is not it. Stay away, ladies and gentlemen. Sure. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Shaq, man.
And then obviously, like, I feel like at what point in time did you make a conscientious effort to start branding Hitmaker and start kind of not being necessarily the face of the music and working more behind the scenes?
Probably like, I mean, I was still after like,
because you were doing like Love and Hip Hop and shit, right?
No, that was after that. So like boom, all that stuff happens, and my career kind of calms down as a rapper. I ended up parting ways with Epic Records, and then I was just lost in the sauce for a while. I didn't know what I was doing. I just kept doing mixtapes. I ended up meeting DJ Ill Will and different people.
Shout out my guy Ill Will.
Yeah, and then doing mixtapes, and then when I finally made like the conscious effort. The first song I think anybody ever heard me say Hitmaker on was for DJ Infamous, who's out of Atlanta.
Yeah,
he had
he
had like a collab album, and then I did a single, a song called Double Cup. It was with Juicy J. I was doing the hook, performing the hook, Jeezy and Ludacris.
I remember that record.
And
that was a dope record.
First time I said Hitmaker, and that was a record I delivered to him.
That was a hard record too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I remember that shit. I think I was living in Tampa. What was that, like 2014?
No, 13? That's way before that. I think that's like 11.
And I must have been in Vegas. That was that was when I was in Vegas.
That was like 11.
I remember the song though.
Yeah, shout out to Infamous. That was like 11.
That was like mixtape era Juicy J. When Juicy had the mixtape shit.
It was like bands that make you dance, Juicy J. Like he was going crazy.
He was going crazy. So that's the first time you said Hitmaker. Yep. Did you because at a certain point in time, like you said, like things kind of started to slow down for you in terms of like the Young Berg thing. Like obviously a bunch of shit happened. You kind of had a stigma attached to you. How hard was it to fight through that era of your career? Because some people aren't built to survive some of the shit that you had to go through.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating. You know what I'm saying? Because like all I knew was music. Like we just spoke. Like I got my first deal at 13. Like I dropped out of high school. Yeah, I dropped out of high school in 9th grade. So all I knew was music or whatever. And then to go through that and it not be something like a lot of the trials and tribulations I went through wasn't personally my mistakes. It was about me being around the wrong people or me not surrounding myself with people that wanted to see me win. So to know it was like it wasn't self-inflicted, like it hurt even more. So luckily I had enough finances or whatever, and my dad believed in me a bunch or whatever, and I just decided like, man, one day, like they just don't want this shit from me. Like this shit is still fire, but they just don't want it from me. So then I just switched the whole player.
That takes a lot of humility too, because we were just having a discussion about an artist that we both know who's a talented writer, but it's like ego's a motherfucker, and it's very much like hard to take yourself out of the spotlight. Like it's still your shit. You're still getting your money off it, but it ain't your face attached to it.
But I think at that point, man, I did all the craziest things that I wanted to do. Like
you got that out of your system.
Like bro, like I've literally like entertained 7 women at one time, or just
you had to aid some?
Yes, like wild out, bugged out stuff.
You gotta break it. Well, first of all. 7 women and you.
Yeah.
That seems like it could be stressful.
It was just a party.
It was a party.
Like everybody was.
Are you like lining them up? Like
I think everybody had attention on everybody.
Okay.
It wasn't like specific to one. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no rules on it. It was just like we were all in.
You know, like Bang Bros, like they'll stack like asses on top of you. Did you do that?
Nah, I ain't do that. No. I was still young though. I was still like, you got to think this sexy lady, sexy cannot Ray J era. Like you got to remember, I was like 18, 19.
On Explosive, on the Chronic 2001, one riding dick, one licking my toes. Was this the case for you?
I'm not really a feet type of guy. Yo, I'm not fucking.
Neither am I.
I'm not touching your feet.
Yeah. No. I'll suck on my wife's feet, but I would feel kind of strange if she wanted to suck on my feet. Because I'd be like, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah, I'm good.
Why are you sucking on my toes?
I'm good off both. I don't want to suck no toes. You ain't gotta suck mine.
So you had 8 sims. You kind of got a lot of shit out of your system. So you start running the behind the scenes plays, and it's so crazy because I remember. I might have been talking to, it might have been like G-Eazy or somebody, maybe in like 2016, 17, where like I finally realized that Hitmaker was you.
Shout out to G, yeah.
And
I did. I think that was around the time I did 1942 for G-Eazy.
It was before that.
It was before that?
Because I remember him bringing you up, and I'd already known who you were in that record, because that was a later record. But yeah, you did such a good job of like, because I'm, at the time I wasn't living in LA, and I wasn't like going to studio sessions like I do now. I wasn't as like entrenched in like the industry side of things. So I just would hear your tag and shit, and had no idea that it was. I'm like, oh shit.
That was interesting. I used to do like different tags or whatever. That was also a struggle too, because a lot of people, like when you coming up, they didn't want my tag on their shit. You know what I'm saying? Now people will pay me to put my tag on their shit. Like approach me. I don't do that, but I've had massive people approach me and be like, yo, you put my tag on your packet, I'll give you like 30 grand or something, 40, 50 grand. But I don't do it because it's hard to like not be able to explain a record. All these records, I'm involved from the birth to the end of it. I'm the guy that has the demo, that does the demo with the co-writer, that does everything, and then I'm the guy that mixes it and turns it into the label. So I think, man, I was trying to sneak in. Another time I got the Hitmaker shit off, I did My Hoes They Do Drugs, a record for King Louis, Juicy J, and Pusha T. And that's when Pusha T found out that I was Young Berg still, and I was Hitmaker at the same time or whatever. And that was another sneaky one. The infamous one came out. And then after that, I moved back to LA. And I actually ended up beating Vincent Herbert. And this is when like he had Gaga, and he was over at Interscope, and Tamar Braxton. I ended up working with her and did a record with her, and I signed my publishing deal with Mike Karen based off that, and that's what brought me back to LA.
And I'm so disconnected from the love and hip hop shit.
That was 2014.
So that was after you moved back to LA.
Yeah, so I moved back to LA. I produced a couple cuts, and then I was working with a few different people doing a whole APG Mike Karen move, and then from there, I was at APG. Well, some life-changing shit happened in those moments. I ended up meeting Jeremiah, like during that time.
You guys have had countless.
Yeah, like I ended up meeting Jay, and then before loving hip hop, I didn't know Jay, and I was just doing my cuts, and like nobody knew that. Like it was no way to be like, man, to associate me with that or whatever. So I actually was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do love and hip hop, because I wanted to like let people know that I was doing shit. So active. And now in the process of starting doing the love and hip hop, that's when I meet Jeremiah. That's when I was at APG at Mike Karen's studio, and Pop and OK, I stumbled across some of their beats, and I went and I did a hook to it, and I named it Nicki and Hitmaker. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna meet Nicki Minaj. I'm telling you, I'm finna start working with her. Well, I was just talking shit, hyping myself up. And then one day I go to Glenwood studio, and a guy named Sounds, who's like a producer friend of mine or whatever, I was with him, just chilling with him, and found out my boy was like, yo, Nicki Minaj in the other room. I'm like, oh shit, go tell her I'm here. I want to play her some shit. When they came and got me, I played her some shit, and from there, like I got really close with Nicki and just was locked in. So then I'm doing love and hip hop, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna really. We ain't started shooting yet. We were about to start shooting. I'm like, okay, this shit makes sense for me to start shooting this shit, because I could just go and tell everybody I'm working with Puffy, I'm working with Nicki Minaj, whatever. And I was so cool with them that they wasn't mad at me saying it on TV.
Was it because I feel like the love and hip hop thing can be a good and a bad. Like it could either be good for your career or it can negatively affect what you got going on. Because there is a stigma to love and hip hop. Like, how do you feel like it affected your shit?
It was drama, you know what I'm saying? But that just come with the love and hip hop shit. But to me, honestly, like,
because who all was on that on the show at the same time you were on?
Me, Ray J.
Was that when like Molly Mall was on there and shit?
Molly Mall, Soulja Boy, Lil Fizz.
Jesus.
Shit.
That is pretty lit. Yeah, a lit cast. Yeah,
so
if you think about it, shit.
That's what that was. Omarion. So yeah, that was that first season, and it was cool. I mean, shit. At that point, I didn't have shit. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get my exposure. I was somewhat trying to regroup. I had a couple cuts, but you know how it is when you're a producer and a songwriter. Initially, you'll have a couple joints that were like, wasn't a bona fide hit. It wasn't like a holy shit moment, and it was just like, okay, you got a single, you got a couple placements or whatever. And then from there, I ended up, after that, I left. And then that's when Nicki album came out. And
which records did you do for Nicki?
Shit, Want Some More, Buy a Heart, Shanghai. I don't know, I think like 5 records on that album, the Pink Print album.
Yeah.
I don't even remember, yeah. That was like 2014, yeah.
That's crazy, man. Do you remember your first, like, the first record that kind of changed things for you as quote unquote hitmaker, like that first plaque?
Well, plaques, I guess it was that, but the record that changed my whole career probably is Big Sean Bounce Back. And I was working this After Love and Hip Hop. I went on tour with Jeremiah, and he was on tour with J. Cole and Big Sean and YG. And like I went on a whole tour with Jay, and then we got off tour, and then I was just working with Jay, continually working. And then I formed somewhat of a relationship with Big Sean. So I was like, yo, like, I want to get you records. Like, I've been already vibing with Sean, end up getting him that record. Me and a lot of people don't know, me and Jeremiah came up with the hook to Bounce Back or whatever. Like, we just did it at my crib. We were in the basement. I had like a big ass crib in Chatsworth. I bought like a 7,000 square foot crib in it by myself. I didn't have much furniture.
Right.
I was just in that thugging with girls every day, and I set up a makeshift studio. Jay came to my crib. We did that record. I played it for Sean. He did it, and he was like, yo, like, I don't know. Like, I like this record. A lot of people like it. Let's just throw it out there. Like, I don't know if it's a single. I don't think this. And I'm like, yo, this shit is out of here. And then Metro Boomin that added on the record. Shout out to Smash David, who also produced the record with me. And then from there, he threw that shit out, and it was out of here. Stupid. And then it was in all type of Super Bowl commercials and licenses and syncs. And then I think it performed as his biggest record of his career, like, solely by itself. I think it went number 2 on Hot 100. The shit was like,
no, it was a huge
7
record.
times platinum, something like that.
Yeah, no. What was that? 2017 or 18?
I was like 2016, wasn't it?
Was it? What album was that? Was that?
Hold on, no, it was 2017.
17.
Yeah, going into 2018, and then right then from there, I ended up becoming a vice president of A&R at Atlantic.
Damn. Mm-hmm. So when you're vice president of A&R, because like I get really. I think I got a good grasp on like the importance of an A&R, but I feel like most people who just hear that word don't really understand what an A&R brings to the table, what they do, what the job description is. Because I see a lot of people out here calling themselves A&Rs, but they're not. They're I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But
taking pictures in a studio session.
Exactly. So what would you say is like the key role of like what an A&R, like a good A&R brings to the table?
To me, I think it's like, it's one or two things. So like for me personally, from what I've seen, either you're a person like me who's a creative, who's gonna come in that if necessarily not gonna make the record with you or whatever, but is going to be able to call a Hitmaker, call a Metro Boomin, call a this person, whatever you need, whatever your
put the right people in the room together.
Put you in the right place for this shit to happen, for your shit to be good creatively. Or you could just be a guy that just knows the building and just gonna champion you in the building and knows how to connect all the dots that's not creative. You know what I'm saying? So linking me with the right video director. You know what I'm saying? Just putting all the in the building type of shit together. You know what I'm saying? That's staying on a Ghazi or staying on a Craig Cowman and in a Lon Ray's face or in a Tina Davis face. Like, yo, this is my art. You know what I'm saying? Like championing you inside the building.
So it's kind of like two different types of A&Rs.
Yeah, for real.
Because like we think of like what you do, right? You'll probably be like, yo, I got this young artist that would sound dope with this writer, that might sound dope with this producer. Set up a session.
Shit, me personally, hell no. If I'm your A&R, I'm making the songs with you.
So, yeah, but then you're the producer at that point.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much your producer. If you get me as A&R, I'm your producer.
Damn. Yeah, because I always feel like, we hear people say, what the fuck does an A&R do? I'm like, it's a lot of shit. But it's also like, some people are just holding titles, I feel like.
Yeah, but and some people, that's because it's just a big revolving door in the music industry as far as like positions and shit like that or whatever, because people have relationships. But to me, I would empower all the young producers like myself or whatever, like, don't be scared to get in the building. Being in the building has been super beneficial for me. I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people be like, man, like, it might stifle me creatively. And I'm like, hell no. When I worked with Atlantic shit, they bought my studio for me. They paid for me to be in the studio 24/7. So like I went to the A&R meetings and I did all the different stuff or whatever, but it was just like empowering me.
Yeah, it's like any situation, you gotta figure out how to like I don't use the word finesse, but kind of finesse this. And like if you can have Atlantic pay for your fucking recording studio, imagine how much more money you're gonna get out of that studio.
And my deals are not exclusive with only one company. I've yet to do a deal to where it's just like, yo, I'm only making records for this company and no other person can pay me for a record.
How because nowadays I feel like the producer market is more saturated than ever. It's kind of like DJs. Once Serato came out, everybody could be a fucking DJ, right? True. And I feel like nowadays with production, it's kind of the same with Splice and, you know, shit like that, you know? So if there's like up and coming producers, what would be the advice you would give them to stick out and to just kind of break through? Because I feel like once you break through a certain ceiling as a producer, it seems like things just start coming to you. What up, y'all? Hey, we got to stop the interview to tell you about our partners, the presenting sponsor of the Bootleg Head podcast, our family at Odd Socks. Man, they're dropping so much heat at Odd Socks right now. Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code BootlegKev. One word, BootlegKev. You will save 20% off at checkout. Listen, they got the socks. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Ninja Turtles. I totally just dropped my mic flag. And then they got the Odd Socks Basics, which are just kind of like these boys. My favorites. I love the Odd Socks Basics. And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Odd Socks now has the underwear. That's right. Tapatio draws on that ass. Remember, oddsocksofficial.com. Use that promo code BootlegKev. Save 20% off at checkout. Let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, I think, man, shit. Be selfless, you know. You don't help as many people as possible change lives. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like put as many people in position as you can. That's why I work with anybody. I don't have like a super like, oh no, you can't come make a record with me. Like if you hot and you dope, like and you a co-writer and you a co-producer, I'm gonna welcome that in because it might be a point to where I'm not hot and you could throw me a bone. I think it's just creating a whole community around yourself to where you can look back and you change so many people's lives. And then like a circle of successes like Dame and like they used to talk about it because like somebody can pull you right up and make sure you keep your relationships good with all the people that you work with. If you just starting, it would be dope. My thing is like, if you could catch one artist that you feel like is somebody that has the same drive and mentality as you and y'all blow up together, then that's
lock in with somebody.
Yeah, that's super beneficial too.
Build an artist sound that's on the come up.
That's one thing that I really didn't have the opportunity to do as a producer because I was already operating on such a high level once I was in a position that I was just working with everybody. But I didn't really I'm doing that now, I feel like with Tink or whatever and all the stuff that we got going on. But I didn't really come up with one guy like how
and you didn't come up with Tink.
Nah.
You know, Tink's
she already established.
She OG,
she already doing.
She's been doing her thing for years, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like doing a whole album like how a Metro would do Future or Southside, you know what I'm saying? All those different people.
You kind of did that with I just in terms of doing a whole album, the Jeremiah Tyrek album, which by the way,
that shit was so
criminally slept on.
You know why I was fucked up?
2 labels?
Yeah.
That's all. Every time it happens.
I think that Def Jam was kind of like in a weird space at that time too when we put it out, and because I don't know if anybody was at the seat. You know what I'm saying? You remember like that moment where nobody was actually the president?
It seemed like for a while Def Jam was very, what the fuck are they doing over there?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. And then, be honest, the record that we used as a single, the higher ups at Atlantic didn't want it to be the single on the group album. They wanted it to be the single on Ty's album. And I'm like, nah, like Ty already got hits. We got Pineapple. We got this one. We got that one or whatever. Like, let's leave this for the group. And I think that they just both were uninterested on pushing it like how it was. And that shit is a fire.
Great project. Yeah, and it's crazy because I feel like anytime that happens where there's like 2 labels, somehow it gets, like it just happened with the 6 tape 2 with Bino and Blast. Right. I just talked to Blast about this. I was like, yo, there was like hits on that album. It's just 2 labels.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, man.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, and like, you know, these motherfuckers, they're like, well, what about your shit?
Yeah. And they didn't, like what we said, they wanted it for Ty. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, when you think about 2 different labels and 2 different artists on 2 different labels, their intentions is to keep the smash for them in their building. You know what I'm saying? More so than share a smash with another label.
I think it was last year, you had brought up a Versuz against Mustard potentially. Yeah. And a lot of people thought you were absolutely crazy.
No, I didn't. Just him.
Well, he thought you were crazy.
Just him.
And it was funny because when I was talking I was like, you know what? Like, wow, Mustard has bigger records.
Where?
I mean, you know, I'm in terms of like the Rihanna, the fucking.
I got some big records.
I'm not saying you don't. What I'm saying is, I just thought that like people didn't really dive enough into realize like what records you could bring to the table.
I got sleeper records that people don't even know I was involved with. John by Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. I'm involved in that record. Shout out to Ayo, the producer.
Shout out to my guy Ayo from Orlando.
Like, bro, he can. What is it? 20 records. I have 3 records as me that are points.
He don't have any of those.
I have 3 records as me that are points. You just said the business, like people, bitches, like come on, like I still have 3 records as me. Like that's easy.
I just think I don't think people were giving you enough respect when you brought that up.
You know what it was? I think that, me and him have a personal relationship and we've worked together and collaborated before. So I think that it probably may have rubbed him the wrong way just for somebody because he's been DJ Mustard the whole time, and I was Berg, a nigga that was just in the studio bringing him records, writing records. We have plaques together. Like I put Nicki Minaj on his single. Like I've done records with him, but we had a falling out of sorts because it was some bad business that was done behind a record, and he just has had a.
Which record was it?
The Whatever You Need record, Meek featuring Chris Brown and Ty Dolla $ign, and I came and brought him that record first. Like it was my record. I had the hook done. Aaron Ray, shout out to Aaron Ray,
who's killing it.
Yeah, me and him wrote the hook on that record. The whole young lad who's a producer that works with me right now. We had the same beat, same samples, same everything or whatever. I gave Mustard the record, and me and Mustard had stopped working at the time. He went and sold the record and did it. You know what I'm saying? I remember like fast forward the time. I'm sitting at the ASCAP Awards or whatever, and I'm sitting next to Meek and all them, and I won my award for Dangerous or whatever. I think, and then like. They called Meek back up there for Whatever You Need, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? This is my song, whatever. So I ended up hitting up the powers that be, and shout out to Rock Nation. We ended up getting it squared away. So he just don't fuck with me. He just got a distaste for me anyway. So he wanted to go and do that, but it's kind of like, yo, like fam, like we all multimillionaires.
So that record, Whatever You Need, was a record you brought to him.
It's my record. It's not even you brought to him.
It was your record. And then he sold it without giving you any of the credit.
1,000%. Me and Aaron Ray.
That's crazy. That seems like a wild thing to do in 2020, 2019. What was that? That was 2018.
Yeah, right? 18.
Yeah. That seems like a wild thing to do. I feel like there's so much transparency. Like now, it's like, dude, I have the session. Bro, like this shit is dated.
And I got love for Mustard, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we've collaborated. We've done great work together, whatever. He a cool guy. I don't got no beef with him or whatever. But my thing was just funny to me because it's like, oh, like, you're really bothered by this. You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I supposed to say I'm going to do a versus with? Like, it's only a few different people, like, what I'm going to say, that make rap music and R&B music at the certain level that I make it. So I was thinking, what, Mustard, London on the track, who can I really say that's in a tier to actually be in a versus that does both of those, that's in my type of, you know what I'm saying, range.
Yeah,
you know
that makes sense.
So, I mean, he took it personally, but I know him, so I know why he took it personally, and it's just funny to me. Like, it tickled me a little bit.
I think the versus thing, man, I really think they got to figure something out because they've lost some steam because I totally did not even realize the UGK 8-Ball and MJG shit was happening.
Yeah.
By the time I realized it happened, it already happened.
Yeah, they gotta reinvent it. You know,
they gotta reinvent it. I feel like they gotta take it back to the gram, man. They're doing,
or they might have just got the bag. You know, what I'm
saying? Shout out to Swizz and Timberland. They're like, hey, we had a 2-year run.
Every business is not meant to last forever. Like,
sure. And there's only so many verses you can do.
Last time I checked, the whole game plan is to start a business, crank it up, and sell it.
Yes,
yeah, for real. So.
I think the only thing they gotta try to do Usher versus Chris Brown, or they gotta get like Kanye or Drake. Usher versus Chris Brown.
But they just did. Kanye and Drake said we're not doing a versus. We'll go sell out of the whole stadium.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
Drake walked into a versus not knowing that that's kind of how it felt on TV. I was on vacation watching that shit, and I was like, oh, damn.
But you gotta. So I wasn't in my. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't in the way, and I wasn't meaning no disrespect with that whole versus shit or whatever. But you gotta really think about it. Like,
this is a commentary of what's going on in our culture right now, bro.
I work every day, and I'm busting my ass for this shit. So it's kind of like, dog. Like for the last 6 years, like there's not been a summer off. There's not been a not plaque hat like for 6 years straight.
100 million records, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
So are you getting back to getting on the mic?
No, fuck no.
No. Okay, so you got new music coming though. New single on the way.
Yeah, Down Bad is my new single off my producer album. Still, that's about to drop. Shout out to the ladies with the first single, Thought Box, and the homies that jumped on it. And then this new single, like how we was talking about me working with songwriters that might empower to be artists or whatever, that's just so fire to me. My guy Ivory Scott, who I brought into the session, and I was able to help him do a couple things that was big with Empire. One, we did Baddest together, and then he did Peru. And I was able to put
shout
him
out
in
to
a
Fireboy.
room, you know what I'm saying? So that's another way you could be an A&R too, technically. I put Ivory in a room to go do Peru for that record. So from there, he's on the record, Jeremiah and Fabulous on the record. These my normal collaborators, but man, I ain't gonna lie, like this is one of them ones. Summer Smash, video shot, it's beautiful. The women were beautiful, had like 30 girls with me. Man, it was just good vibes.
30?
Yeah. You gonna see it's a nice mix.
Nice. Not quite the 8 though.
Oh yeah, you tripping?
or the 7 rather.
Nah. This I ain't on that no more. That's over. Them days over.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we got shout out to my wife. You know, I got all that crazy shit out of my system.
Exactly, man. Hell yeah, super executive time now.
It's executive time, man. Do you feel like do you feel like nowadays, man, like because you're in a position that I think people look to you as like a leader, as like somebody who could change an artist or a songwriter's life. Do you feel that weight on your shoulders?
Nah, it's happening organically. Like, man, like I seen an interview with Dame Dash or whatever, and like I literally used to be saying this shit on my gram, like, yo, the name of my company is Not Trying Records or Not Trying LLC, because like literally, like me and my homies and my team, we go to the studio and it's not like we're trying to make a song, you know what I'm saying? Or let's make a song for Beyonce today, or let's make this, or let's make a song with Taylor Swift. We just go in there, have some drinks, smoke a little bit, and just let the creativity flow. And like that just turned into 10 songs a night. You do that for years straight, and then you just able to load everybody up. So I don't know, like I'm just, what was we talking about again? What was we saying? What was the question again? So I
was just saying, do you feel like the weight on your shoulders that like you're kind of like,
it's happening organically.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that I'm doing or whatever, like even with me, like I think I don't even think, I know that I kind of like, I set out maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna flip every record that I love from my childhood growing up, and I'm gonna make this a sound. I'm gonna be the Puff Daddy of this generation.
Wow.
And I'm gonna bring all these samples back, and I really did it. And then now you see, like, but it's turned into a thing now. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, well, I just need to follow my first instinct. So whatever feels good and whatever my initial like reaction is, I just go with it for real.
That's dope, man. Well, listen, when's the single drop?
Oh, the single 17th this month, June.
What's that? Next Friday?
Yeah, next Friday. Finna set the summer on fire. You did?
When's the album coming out?
The album's coming out in September. It was supposed to come out when I sold 100 million records, but thank you God, that happened a little bit faster than I thought it was gonna happen. So
he's like, shit, the album ain't ready yet. It
comes out in September, man. It features everybody, the whole game, and salute to everybody that ever made a producer album. Salute to Khaled. Like I said, I just seen an interview with Southside. Salute to him doing a producer album. Shoot, man. Anybody that try this shit, man, this shit is a nightmare. It is a
so
lot
many
of
different
work.
moving parts, different labels, different legal teams, management. Because you might know the artist, and the artist is like, yeah, of course, I got you. But then you got to talk to their fucking people, and then that's when.
Then it's just really political, you know what I'm saying? It's just getting everybody on the same page and a lot of moving parts. So I salute anybody that does this type of album. It's a great body of work. We already got one gold single with Thoughtbox. I'm about to put out this next single, get another plaque.
Wait, were you, Thoughtbox isn't going to be on the album though, is it?
Yeah, I took it over. I took over my records from Atlantic.
Shit.
Yeah, shout out to Atlantic. Shout out to my
didn't you do like a remix with like fucking 10 chicks?
Yeah, I did a remix with Dream Doll, Mulatto, Chinese Kitty, Dreezy, and Young M.A. And the shit went super duper viral, man. It was bigger than a record. My initial record with the guys was A Boogie, Meek, 2 Chainz, Namir, and Tyga. I had them all on the record, all 5 of them.
Damn.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. I think it was because the title was called Thoughtbox, and you got 5 guys on the record. You know what I'm saying? It might move, but when I was literally in Vegas, just turned up on a fucking. We were working this back when the Palms had the studio in the Palms, and we were just in.
Did they get rid of that?
Yeah, they cut.
That was a great studio.
That shit was amazing. We was in there working, just turned up, and I'm like, man, yo, the single's not moving like I wanted to move. Fuck it, I'm gonna go put all girls on the song, but I'm not gonna go reach for like Nicki or Cardi or the top tier usual suspects. I'm gonna go get all the up and coming. Any girl that got over 1 million Instagram followers that I like and I fuck with their music, I'm gonna go put them on a song. And I felt like that way, when they all press go at the same time, it could turn into pandemonium, and it became a thing.
And that's what happened. There it is, man. Album coming out in September.
Yes, sir. September.
Single out next Friday.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time, bro.
Appreciate
Thanks for pulling up, man. My guy.